The filter-free diary. Uh,
Good morning. It's 6:53 and I'm inside the little house. Like, there's the bed. There's the seating area and a TV and my PlayStation and of course. So you get to see the upstairs, and yeah, if I stand up I will knock myself out right now. I'm in a little triangle room. So all my life, I've always had certain questions, and they're questions that no human can answer. And they're the questions I was saving for God. Because when you're little, you're told, when you die, you get to meet God, and then you can finally ask him all the questions that you always wanted to ask him. And so I've always had certain questions that I'm like, I don't understand this. And if someone could just explain this to me, that would be fucking wonderful. And one of the questions I don't understand is like, it said that everything came up out of chaos. Like there was non-order, and then suddenly order arose out of non-order. And you know how that is just mind-boggling, and you're like, well, how did it do that? Like, how was there non-order, and then how did it just make order? What does that even mean? I don't understand. And going on this path is a wild reflection of an answer to that question. Like, I'm gonna say this thing and you can hate me, and that's okay, because I'm gonna say it anyways. The world, in my opinion, is all in chaos right now. Like, they don't know up from down and left and right, and they're all confused, right? They're all confused because the church has convinced people that spirit is like, connected to men. The lower half of the minds on this planet can somehow channel spirit, as where the higher half of minds on this planet can't, right? Like, out of that kind of chaos, out of all the backwardsness that is happening in this world, all the chaos, all the stuff that doesn't make any sense, all the disorders out there, everything, somehow order still rises. It just happens to rise with me. And I'm not trying to say I'm special, though I do happen to be the vessel, apparently. And that's how it happens. There, amidst all the chaos, there is something doing chaos. But at some point, it's just like, I don't get it. And it stops doing chaos. Something stops doing chaos. That's fucking awesome. That's how that happens. And one of my other questions, which is along the same lines, like if there is chaos, if there is nothing, if there is disorder and all that, and then all of a sudden all this order comes, all these dominoes start falling into place. Now we have a single-celled organism. Now we have algae. Now we're using sun's energy. Now we're, incorporating mitochondria. Now we're using air. Now we're doing all these things. How does that first domino start? Like, I get that the dominoes are going and falling and life is doing the thing, but how did the first life do the thing? That's the question. Like, beyond the chicken or the egg, like, who cares what was first? How did it do the next thing? How did it do it? And that's another question I was saving for when I met the man in the sky, and there's no man in the sky. But And again, I get to be the example in that, because I'm the first domino. And the two questions are related, but I didn't know it until I am sitting here thinking about all this shit and walking this crazy ass path through all this chaos. And it is the search for order, the search for something that'll make sense. And that's how the first domino falls, too. That's how the first domino falls. You do chaos for thousands, hundreds of thousands, millions and billions and trillions. You do chaos as long as you want to do chaos. But at some point, something, amidst all that chaos, decides it doesn't want to do chaos. It decides it doesn't want to do chaos. And then it falls like a domino. It doesn't get pushed. It makes itself fall like a domino. And then it hits something, and that falls. And then that hits something, and that falls. And that's how order comes out of chaos, and that's how the first domino falls. You just get tired of doing chaos. Have a good morning.